only concern I have is kind of like what you mentioned, is like, later in the week you're starting to get a little more lethargic. But the good thing is you're staying aware of your step count. You're like, okay, I need to keep myself moving, because yeah, I mean, now we're getting to a point where you're getting pretty lean. Body's going to push back a little bit. You're not going to be as energized. You're going to want to sit around more, not move. And that, that can slow progress down as far as fat loss. And that's kind of your body's way of trying to, conserve energy. We need to make sure that, one, stay aware, try to move, do your normal daily activities. But I also think it's not a bad idea right now, especially with the way you're feeling. With the way you're feeling now, and in combination of the amount of progress that we've gotten here the last few weeks, since we kind of threw that cardio in there, things have been rolling pretty well. We've got a nice surge of progress. So I think what I want to do this weekend is to give you 3 refeeds as opposed to 2. So what we're going to do is, now through Thursday, stay on the same low day macros, 60 fat, 250 carbs, 200 protein. And then Friday through Sunday, I want you to refeed. So 60 fat, 400 carbs, 200 protein. I think those 3 refeeds are going to recharge your batteries a bit. That's going to help you with your performance in the weight room. Like having 3 days at 400 carbs, obviously you're going to get a bit more glycogen storage there, so you should have better energy for the weight room. It'll probably help you move around a bit more as well, your daily activities, so it'll keep your expenditure up. And again, I just think, mentally, it's going to help out too, like having 3 higher days. You'll probably look fuller and better as well after 3 high days. So I think it's a good thing. I'm not overly concerned about, slowing progress down or anything like that. If anything, I think this is going to help us progress next week and the week after and the week after that. So yeah, so right now it's kind of, think of it as investing in the future a little bit. So we're just going to basically fill that bank account up a little bit. That way you can spend a little bit more later on. So that's kind of what I want to do this week, is just basically just throw another high day at you. If your life demand goes way up, I think sometimes, we have to look at training and think like, okay, if I'm going to be, working long hours at work, if I'm going to be like, when I'm not at work, I come home and I'm going to work on house projects and painting and things like that. Like, that's a lot of demand. And if you're keeping the same training demand up, especially if you're in a training block where there's a lot of volume, that can overload your system, regardless if you, let's say, increase calories. Like sometimes I think it's a good idea, like when that overall stress demand goes way up, it's not a bad idea to say, okay, you know what, let's just tone the training down just a little bit. Your system overall is going to be able to handle everything a little bit better. And it's not like if you took a week or 2 of your training and you lowered, let's say, volume down, or you cut maybe a day or 2 off of your training week, like it's not all of a sudden you're going to lose absolute strength or lose any type of muscle. If anything, you're going to keep your performance up in the weight room, because you're not going to be overly stressed or overly impacted by everything that's going on. So your performance will be there. So it'll be enough to, at the very least, maintain muscle mass. Now that you're working furniture store, need to kind of know what that kind of entails as far as activity levels. Is it pretty physical? Is it not so physical? I'm assuming if you're working in a furniture store, you're probably on your feet a lot, maybe moving furniture around. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, if that entails a lot of physicality, then yeah, we need to kind of monitor how the prep is going And I think as far as changing protocol right now, I don't think we need to, because we are still, seeing momentum with progress, but also for the fact that you just got this new job. And so the last thing that I want to do is like, okay, hey, you got this new job, that might entail more physical activity. So I don't want to lower food down or throw cardio at you right now, because there's going to be a lot of moving parts all at once. So I'd rather just say, hey, keep food levels the same, keep our cardio the same, the training, of course, that's going to remain the same, and then therefore the only things that's really kind of changing is like that new job. So if we start seeing a negative impact from that job, where let's say you start losing weight really rapidly, or maybe training, your energy levels start taking a hit, performance is not all that great, recovery, then we know, okay, this job is affecting those things, and then therefore at that point we can possibly say, okay, we make a nutrition change or a cardio change or a training change to get things flowing really well. So again, just trying to balance it all out. So that's what I want to do this week, is basically nothing and just keep everything the same, because again, we're progressing well right now, and of course with a little bit of a life change as far as getting a new job, we need to see how that's going to evolve. Welcome to contest prep. So you are now really kind of experiencing what it feels like to be leaner, because you are getting leaner. You can definitely see it visually. You're looking really good, by the way, but you're getting leaner, and obviously the food levels, they're not extremely high, so you're feeling the real contest prep now. And moving forward, you're going to get leaner, and you're probably going to feel probably a little more hungry at times than you're experiencing now. So just be prepared for that, and just keep me well updated, because the last thing I want is to, everybody has breaking points. I don't care who you are, even some people who may not admit it, they do have their breaking points. So just keep me well updated on that. Like if you feel like, hey man, this is getting to be a little too much, just let me know, because then I'd rather just say, hey, you know what, today let's call an audible and let's give you a refeed here. That'll take the edge off, and then basically we can continue on from there. And what that would do is prevent any type of setbacks. Like I've seen people who they think they're under total control, and then they lose it, and instead of a refeed day at let's say 2,500 calories, they're having a binge where they're having like 5,000 calories. Like I've seen it many times as a coach, and even myself, I've experienced it myself, where I lost my shit and ate a ton of food. So we want to try to prevent that. So just keep me well versed on that.